Okay, so the one thing I want to touch on this week, I actually had some really great feedback. And by great feedback, I mean it struck a chord with people. A couple of the posts that I did this week just about control. And there's been some communication with some of you guys about control. And, it is this thing that we so desperately grasp onto. And I believe that was the root of my eating disorder for so long. I believe me trying to control the things that are outside of my control are the root of a lot of my misery and my unhappiness at certain specific points in my life. And I've learned over the years, trust in something bigger than me. So whether it's you want to trust in a higher power, you want to trust in God, you want to trust in the universe, you want to trust in the world and trust in the flow of life. Like I have this saying right now, let go and let flow. And it really helps me through everything. In fact, I'm going to get personal for a minute. My divorce, it was a really, really, really hard thing for me, and really hard thing because I, at the time didn't understand why, or if I was in control of this would be a thing that happens forever. But the fact of the matter is I had to accept, and I didn't accept it for a while, from August when Chris and I split through October. It was about October. So at least a couple months. Those were some really hard times. And when I look back and when I think of why they were so difficult for me, they were so difficult because I was so busy trying to control an outcome that I didn't have the right to control. But I was in this position where I was trying to control an outcome of having what I thought was going to be a happy life for everybody. Like I thought I knew what was best for Chris. I thought I knew what was best for me and for my kids and all of these things. And really it was very focused on, I thought I knew what was best for Chris. And what was best for Chris is to stay married to me and to, find peace inside of a home, when the reality is, I don't know what's best for Chris. Only Chris knows what's best for Chris. Like only you know what's best for you, and only I know what's best for me. The harder and the more I try to control a thing which I cannot control, the more control I lost, like the more out of control my mind was. And it's that whole saying, it's like that which persists resists. And I really do believe that when we push and push and push for something, like think of a guy or a girl you were dating or trying to win. And it was like the harder you tried, the more they pulled. And when you just let go, when you let go of the idea in your head, and I've posted this before, of how you thought your life should be or what you thought somebody should do, that's when truly, like there's so much freedom and so much beauty. And I'm crying, but you have to know I'm crying happy tears, like just peaceful, like tears of like, it's something I struggled with for a very long time. But when you actually let go and you just trust and you have faith that everything is going to work out exactly the way that it is, the level of liberation and freedom is unreal, you guys. Unreal. And now I can sit outside of where I was and look at how I was able to let go. And I can see now, especially over the past couple months, in the midst of what is still a divorce happening between me and Chris, there's so much more peace. And none of that realization could have happened for me if I didn't give up control and I didn't let go and I didn't surrender to what the world has in store for me or what God has in store for me. Know that there are certain things you control. Know that there are certain things you cannot control, and have the wisdom to know the difference. It is such a big thing. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, with Susan, who's in this group. And Susan she kind of mentioned, and she's right. She said, that trying to grasp onto a level of control is really a form of you not showing up for yourself. And she's spot on. Like that's what it is. When you are trying so hard to control a thing that is actually out of your control, like that you lost a job, that we're in COVID season, in quarantine, that 2020 is freaking weird. It is when you are obsessing and being codependent and your emotions are so tied to the idea of this thing you can't control and what's going on, you are not showing up for yourself. You're so busy, caught up, trying to show up and change a thing that you can't change, where you should be is inside of your own heart, your own soul, your own head, dealing with what's going on in there, showing up for you and who you are. And she actually had a really great idea. She said for her, I had, I was struggling and I made a list of all the things that were on my mind. And of all the things, I went through and I crossed off everything that I had no control over. Like, oh, can't control this. Oh, what about this? Can't control this. Can I control? Nope, can't. And so she was left with only the things that she had control over. Crossing off the things you can't control is almost a get them out of my mind thing. I love this. And then with the things left that were not crossed off, Susan was able to say, okay, what is one thing I can do today to get control of the thing that I can control? Think of all the things that you're stressing about in your mind. What are you worried about? Make a list of them. I want you to go through the list. I want you to say, cross off the items that you have no control over. Sit with the things that you have control over. Do some reflecting tonight and come up with one thing that you can do to take control of those things that are within your control. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for being with me, and keep being amazing. Keep showing up. Go make impact, and I'll be back. Love you guys. Mwah.